Bluey is one of the most beloved shows in recent times, winning the hearts of both kids and adults with its simple and heartfelt stories. But have you ever imagined what Bluey's future will be like when she grows up? Each episode brings real pieces of life, those moments when we learn, grow, and change. And it seems like this journey won't stop at childhood. There are rumors that, in the future, our favorite blue pup will become an adult, and even a mom. Anyone who saw the episode Surprise knows what we're talking about. In it, a little puppy full of energy appears. And according to the show's creator, Joe Brum, that little one really is Bluey's daughter. We still don't know the official name of the new character, but many fans have already suggested a sweet guess. Roxy, a name that matches her color and clever personality. Now, will Bluey be the mother of just one puppy? Probably not. If we go by the average family size in Australia, it's likely there'll be a second baby coming along. One thing's for sure, there are many new stories ahead. So come check out everything we already know about the future of our favorite little dog, along with our best theories, right here on Zigzag. And if Bluey is really going to have two puppies, that can only mean one thing. Before becoming a mom, she'll experience romance. After all, puppies don't just show up out of nowhere, right? And among all the characters, there's one candidate who's already won the audience's heart. McKenzie, that black and white border collie who's always by Bluey's side in their games. From an early age, the two have shown a special bond. They're adventure partners, and above all, they genuinely care for each other. In several episodes, you can feel that their friendship has something more to it. In the episode Barky Boats, Teacher Calypso drops an interesting hint. She compares Bluey and McKenzie to Mia and Captain, a couple who reconnect after many years. It was a subtle but clear way of planting a little seed in our minds. And let's be honest, McKenzie would be the perfect match for Bluey. He has a calm, thoughtful nature, very much like Chili. Bluey, even as an adult, will still have that playful spirit, always coming up with new ways to have fun. With that, it's easy to imagine her repeating the games Bandit used to play with her in Bingo, only now with her own children. A beautiful cycle continuing, and one we'd love to see. But one thing is certain, adult Bluey will have to work too. Growing up always comes with bills, even for little blue dogs. But Bluey's professional future has everything to be as creative as she is. We know that Bluey's imagination is one of her greatest strengths. In the episode Bumpy and the Wise Old Wolfhound, she creates an entire movie just to cheer up her sick little sister. She invents characters, scenes, sound effects, all with great dedication and joy. And if we add that to the drawings stuck on the fridge, we can guess that Bluey will become an animator. In other words, someone who turns ideas into animated shows, just like the series we're watching now. It would be a wonderful reference to the creator of the show, Joe Brum, who also started out as an animator before bringing Bluey to life. In fact, he worked on shows like Peppa Pig before deciding to tell stories inspired by his own family, like Bandit, who's based on him. So go ahead and subscribe to the channel so you stay up to date on everything about our most beloved shows and series. Of course, Bluey won't go through this new phase alone. Her sister Bingo will also be around, even if a little less than in the original series, because Bingo will follow a path full of adventure, becoming an archaeologist just like their dad. But unlike Bandit, who mostly works on the computer, Bingo is going to get her paws in the dirt for real. Excavations, ancient sites, trips to distant places. All of it matches her curious and adventurous spirit perfectly. Even with their busy lives, Bingo and Bluey will remain close, probably living in neighboring suburbs. And they'll have a great reason to visit each other. They're kids. Bingo will also become a mom, and her son will grow up to be great friends with Bluey's children, repeating the friendship between Bluey, Bingo, Muffin, and Socks. But since Bingo might have trouble getting pregnant, something common in the red heeler breed, her son will be adopted. We're thinking the little boy might be named Bob, as a tribute to their paternal grandfather. And as for the father, many fans are betting on Dougie, that sweet character who communicates using sign language. This would lead the healers to also learn how to communicate that way, sending a really great message of inclusion to children. And the truth is, if those two meet again in the future, it's going to be pure emotion, and we'll love watching it unfold. But what about Bluey and Bingo's other friends? That whole gang that grew up together? Well, just like in real life, not all of them will stick around. Over time, people take different paths, move to new cities, follow new passions. But some bonds are just too strong to fade. That's the case with Lila, Bingo's best friend. From the very first episode she appeared in, Lila made it clear that she wanted to be with Bingo forever. And she made it happen. Photos of the two show their solid friendship lasting through the years, all the way to graduation. So it's easy to imagine that Lila also became an archaeologist and now works side by side with Bingo on expeditions around the world. And there are more familiar faces from that old gang who will show up. Remember Snickers and Coco? Yep, those two end up as a couple when they grow up. But before that, there's a funny little detail. When she was younger, Coco had a crush on McKenzie, Bluey's future husband. In several playtime scenes, she insisted on being his girlfriend, which probably led to some funny teenage drama later on. You can totally imagine the characters as adults reminiscing about those days in an episode full of awkward high school memories. Because growing up also means looking back and laughing at the small dramas of the past. And since we're talking about childhood sweethearts, there are two characters we can't leave out, Rusty and Indy. As kids, they shared a super special bond. They'd always play mom and dad and come up with their own little family stories right in the middle of the playground. Over time, that strong partnership might turn into something more. In the continuation of the series, it's very possible that Rusty and Indy will become a real family, and we think it's going to be a big one. We're imagining 5 little pups running around the house, turning everything into a non-stop episode of playful chaos. And there's more. Rusty's going to shine outside the house too. Remember how he was always passionate about cricket? In a future scene shown in the series, you can already see him playing professionally. It's a dream come true. And you can just picture the pride on Indy's face, and on the faces of their 5 pups cheering in the stands. Which character are you most excited to see all grown up? Tell us with the hashtag Bluey in the comments. Even if Bluey ends up marrying McKenzie, there's another character who could have been the great love of her life, Jeanluke, that Canadian Labrador who appeared in the episode Camping. They only spent a few days together, but it was enough to create a strong bond, even speaking different languages. Bluey spoke English, Jeanluke only knew French, and yet they understood each other perfectly. Because sometimes a real connection doesn't need any translation. At the end of that episode, we see that they'll meet again as teenagers, and that's where our theory begins. Before being with McKenzie, Bluey and Jeanluke are going to date. One of those first loves we never forget. They'll dream about the future together, make wedding plans. But life, as always, will take another path. The cultural differences, the distance between Australia and Canada, all of that will take its toll. Jeanluke will learn English to talk better with her, but maybe he'll want Bluey to move with him to Canada, while she'll prefer to stay close to her family. In the end, the two will part ways, but not with sadness, with love. Years later, Bluey might tell this story to her daughters in a special flashback episode, showing that not every love has to last forever to be meaningful. And just like in real life, not everything in Bluey's future will be made of adventures, romance, and good laughs. Time passes, and with it come changes that aren't always easy. Some beloved characters, especially the older ones, may end up saying goodbye. It's sad to think about, but it makes sense to imagine that Grandpa Bob and Grandpa Mort might no longer be around in the future of the series. Mort, Chili's father, already lives alone and lost his wife very early. With his advanced age, he might end up having an accident or falling ill. And Bob, the paternal grandfather, sometimes seems to have memory lapses. It might just be old age, but it could also be something more serious, like a neurological condition. If Bingo's pup is really named Bob, it could be a beautiful tribute, and a way to keep her grandfather's memory alive. And those who know the show understand. The writers aren't afraid to touch hearts. They know how to show that growing up involves both joy and loss, laughter and tears. That's exactly what makes Bluey so special. It reminds us that life is made of cycles, and everything changes. But love, memories, and good stories stay with us. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who also loves Bluey. See you next time, friend.